right, everybody, thanks for joining in. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Yeah, more stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. What do you want to talk about? We should probably cover we're sitting on a verdict almost, right?
Yeah. Today, probably.
Breaking news.
Let's be
at some
honest
point.
here. It's pretty much guaranteed a guilty verdict.
I don't know, man. I've been watching a lot of stuff on X and seeing stuff where people are saying that they think 7 of the jurors, just by watching them during the final, the closing arguments, are on the fence. Just takes one. Takes one.
The closing arguments for the prosecutor took 5 hours.
Yeah, you lose people.
5 hours to make your case? Seems like you had how many weeks to make your case?
Yeah, you lose people. You definitely lose. It short and sweet.
I've never been in court, thank God. Is it common to have that many objections in a final closing argument?
Yeah.
And to get sustained by the judge several times, and for the judge to be like, hey, wrap it up.
Yeah, they were trying to relitigate everything through the closing arguments.
Well,
right?
they added stuff too.
They had to. And
when you put a perjurer on stand.
Well, this case look at how it happened. This should never even have been a case in the first place.
Well, that's why, 2 federal agencies said, yeah, we're not prosecuting this?
Well,
and
correct me if I'm wrong, but this is taking a state case, which should have been a federal case, and making it a state's case.
So I do have an article about that. It talks about the counts were misdemeanors that had the statute of limitations had expired. However, they were able to get around that because of some New York law.
And tagging on the federal aspects.
By saying that he was committing another crime. By falsifying the business records, it was committing another crime or covering up another crime, but they never list and they never litigated the other crime. It's still not, they don't even know what the original crime to bring these back was.
Right. At this point, everybody sees, well, I shouldn't say everybody. If you're on the left, you're a steadfast lefty. You think Trump's the worst thing in the world. He's terrible. He's Hitler, whatever. If you're on the right, you think that this is an absolute sham. And I honestly believe, I don't think I'm that far to the right, but if you can't see at this point that this has never been done before to a former president, and you're really grasping at straws. You did the same thing with the impeachment process. You did the same thing with the Russian disinformation stuff. You've did the same thing when Hunter Biden's laptop came out. And if you can't see it by now that, hey, maybe something's wrong with what's taking place, maybe we should take a better look at this kind of thing and see what's going on. If you can't see that these DAs are bought and paid for by a guy who absolutely hates Trump, if you can't see that they're campaigning on, hey, if you elect me and I'm going to convict Trump of a crime, if you can't see that by now, man, I don't know what to say.
I don't know, I understand. Trump's an asshole. Trump is super irritating.
So am I. I'm an asshole.
Yeah, well, I guess the 3 of us are.
Right.
But, for people that actually honestly believe, and there's smart people out there that are like, no, he's guilty of this.
Well,
what the hell? How are you that
stupid
absolved into? Well, no, it's just like the just a cloud that you live in, I guess.
Yep.
That you can't even see.
Well, everybody stays in their own orbit, right? Everybody. That's the thing. You see it with families a lot. A family be conservative, the whole entire family's conservative. A family will be very liberal, the whole entire family is very liberal. You see it a lot. Not mine. Well, mine's kind of split, right? I think my dad, God bless him, he passed a long time ago, but my dad was a military guy, a Vietnam vet. My grandfather, military guy, World War II vet. Myself, War on Terror vet, right? And that pushed us conservative. But up until that point, I was raised as a liberal.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of go and you're like, what the hell? 40% of my money goes to the government for what? What are you doing for me?
Yeah,
the roads still suck. Our infrastructure still sucks. Because it's going where? Oh, why do I have to give money to Poland? Why am I giving money to Germany? What's this for? This money just goes all over the place, right? And then militarily, I sit there and I'm like, wait, Obama, you're giving me only 1 hot meal a day now? I went from having 4 hot meals while deployed to 1 hot meal a day? No, hell no, right? You start to see these things, and you don't think that that sways an opinion, but absolutely, when you're not getting the equipment you need, you're not getting the training you need, and your rules of engagement change, all that crap, it changes, and you just kind of start to see things for what they are.
I didn't know that, the hot meal thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was
How is that not like out there more? Well, I guess I know how, because they're not covering it.
well, and it gets forgotten. It was a big thing when it was reported back in the day, but it gets forgotten. And soldiers was part of in his defense, he was trying to lessen troops overseas, right? He's drawing down and
By starving you to death?
killing everybody. He was drawing down forces in Afghanistan and in Iraq simultaneously, and he wanted a certain amount of numbers in battle space. Well, instead they said, okay, well, we're not going to support the major supply chain that we had before because we didn't have enough soldiers to do it, didn't have enough troops on the ground. So we shortened everything. Instead of having multiple meals a day, you got one, and then the rest was, MREs or Jimmy Dean's, and that's not cool. Those suck. Both of them are terrible.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't have faith in that jury pool. I don't have faith in the judge to rule. I mean, he still hasn't ruled on the direct verdict. He's not going to, unless for some reason he wants the jury to come back and say they found him guilty, and then he throws it out with the direct verdict ruling, which I could see happening, so that everyone can go on and say he was found guilty, but this judge threw it out.
Man,
I don't know. Is that the play? So that they can still advertise and they can put all this shit out that he was found guilty?
They want him gone.
Yeah, but it's going to get thrown out as soon as it gets to the Supreme Court. And I saw something on Twitter or X.
To me, this seems like a very well thought out, a very well organized machine that they're going after him. Just think about it in terms, when I look at things like this, I look at terms of like military planning, right? You have a PACE plan. Your primary plan was to get him with, whatever crime came first. What was it? Fanny was first, probably, right?
Well, this one was technically first.
Well, think
the
about
first crime. It was from 2016.
Okay, so but the first one to prosecute, I think, was Fanny.
Well, I think based on I think they wanted the first one to be Fanny, but then this one got pushed.
Well, it seems to me like their primary plan failed. They went to their alternate.
Yeah, but that's failing.
And then they went to their contingency.
And that's failing.
And now they're on their emergency.
And then that's failing.
You're right. So that's what terrifies me with this. And again, did you see Robert De Niro was out in front of the court with the campaign staff from Biden, having an absolute meltdown?
The two police officers that they can prove were lying.
Yep.
Two Capitol police officers.
Yep. And this is what you do in desperate times, right? I honestly think they are terrified of Trump. Why? He's going to be a wrecking ball to the establishment, which at this point this country needs.
The intelligence agencies.
The intelligence agencies have done terrible, terrible shit for, the last, I don't know.
Since they started?
Yeah.
Honestly, the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover would get dirt on everyone and blackmail them to get his way.
Right.
It started with it.
I look at things like the intelligence agency came up with the intel that said Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, right? Yeah. Everybody now knows there was no frickin' weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
No.
But you weren't going to tell the Americans, hey, we're going over there to get rid of Saddam Hussein, and we're going over there to basically try to stabilize an area of the Middle East, right? You weren't going to tell Americans that because they weren't ready to lose people just to go over there and be there.
Yeah.
What were we there for? If we were there for a reason, we would have left a base of operations in place. We would have stabilized that country. We would have done all sorts of things. The only reason we were there for was money. Money, oil, whatever you want to call it at this point, everyone frickin' sees it, right? Nothing bigger. There's not a bigger slap in the face to somebody who's been over there, who's wounded over there, who's lost brothers and sisters over there, than to turn around and give that country over to ISIS and watch it fall into what it was. That is the biggest slap in the face. Afghanistan, same exact thing. What is it, 13 dudes blown up? Some of the guys from our old unit were killed in that explosion. And for what? You gave it back. You gave it back to the Taliban, who's now working with the Chinese. So if this was about making a better life for these people, we would have stayed for the long haul. We did it in Germany. We did it in Japan. We did it in South Korea. That's not what this was about.
Right.
It was completely different. So I don't know. This is frustrating for
Well,
me.
don't you think it was supposed to be like that? Because like, if you look at like the embassy that they built in Iraq, I mean, you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gigantic.
I don't know, man. I just think that right now what we're seeing take place is they're so afraid. Everyone's afraid of what's taking place. The intel agencies lied. We know they've lied. We know they've done terrible, atrocious things. We know that they've lied about Trump. We know that they've lied about this and that. And I'm not talking about your foot soldiers who are out there fighting
No, it's
terror.
the leaders.
It's the people in the political positions that are doing this crap.
The 51 that signed onto that laptop was Russian disinformation.
I mean,
and they knowingly lied, and nothing's been done. They have not been held accountable.
And
They
you
still
won't.
have security clearances.
You won't. Well, yeah. It takes an act of Congress pretty much to
Or
remove
a
a security
president.
clearance. Yeah. I mean, it's. What do you do at this point? I have no idea, man. But it seems to me like
I hope he goes in and declassifies everything.
that's
that
what I
he
think
can.
they're afraid of.
Yeah.
I think they're afraid that he'll come in this
He just
term
burns them down
and burns the whole place to the
Yeah,
ground.
start it again.
And I think that's terrifies people. I mean, I think there's this real fear over. Still don't know who was on Epstein Island. I mean, I've seen the post. You saw that X post. We were
Yeah.
just talking about it.
Yep.
Oddly enough, Robert De Niro's outside of the frickin', Trump's court case, just ranting and raving about how terrible he is. He's going to ruin democracy. And then you look on X, and there's that post on X. That guy brings up his post like, "Oh, look, here's people from the Epstein Island list," and his name's there.
Yeah.
Is that true? I have no idea. I have
don't
no
know if
idea.
that's true.
But the government does. The
Yeah.
government knows.
Well,
and
they have it.
They
And
have
the-
it. I would like to see it.
I think it's funny, like some of those people, like when Aaron Rodgers and Kimmel got into their thing, and Aaron Rodgers was like, was he afraid his name's on the list?
Yeah, and Kimmel
however,
blew up.
Kimmel blew up, but like, and now that list came out, the one list, that was just one of the cases.
Right.
Like that's not even the list.
No, I mean,
Where did his black book go?
I would imagine. Here's my thoughts on this. You don't get so fired up and angry. Like, look at me. I'm not a fan of Biden. Biden's probably the worst president I have ever lived through. He's a moron. He's
not there. He's not the president. That's the problem.
But here's the problem. Biden was a moron before.
Well, that's true. That's true.
He was not an intelligent man
No.
before this. He was a
No.
liar. He's never told the truth. He's always been a politician. He's done weird stuff like showering with people, showering with family
His
members
daughter.
at 15 years old or
And now
inappropriate ages.
did you see? She just came back out and said, "No, this
I know.
actually happened."
I know. And here's the thing: he's never been a good dude. But I'm not going out in front of something and like screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm not doing that. And you know what? You're a celebrity. How is this not kind of some sort of campaign interference? You're bringing a celebrity out there or interfering with a court case. You're trying
Yeah.
to use your celebrity.
Yeah. And it was billed as a Biden-Harris campaign event.
Sure.
Like it's not. We're not even trying to hide it anymore.
No, we're not. And it's disgusting. So what do you have to hide? I want to know what all these people have
Yeah.
to hide. Or are they just that afraid that their power structure is going to be taken away?
Well, they spent a lot of time and a lot of money trying to
Yeah.
get where they are, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just, it
I'm
bothers
not
me.
sure why De Niro thinks he has any power, anyways. But
You're an actor. Shut the fuck up and act. That's
Yeah,
what I want.
yeah.
You get paid to pretend you're me or some other average person in a movie.
Yeah.
If you're one of those guys, like, what was it, Liam Neeson?
usually
it's
they're
like,
people that kill people. So there
Yeah.
you go, De Niro.
Right.
Congratulations.
it's like, dude, shut your fucking mouth. You're here to frickin' dance like a monkey and entertain me. Shut
Yeah.
up and dance like a monkey. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear your politics. I don't. I'm getting to the point now where it's just like, man, my God, dude. Everything I had done up to this point in my life, the amount of sacrifices that have been made for me and my family, and just going and doing stuff. You come home and you see this, and it's just like, it just bothers me, man.
Yeah.
It bothers me. It's ridiculous.
No, I completely agree, and I have the same feeling. Like for those that I align with, I'm kind of a centrist.
Yep.
And so it bothers me like on both sides, but it also bothers me when stupid people do it and they're just repeating and you ask them one question and they can't back it up. Like those girls, again, those girls
I wish
that were
I
at
was
the
more
protest.
educated.
I wish I was more educated. I don't know. I heard some line and I liked it, so I'm using it. Like, Jesus Christ, just do some research.
This is the problem I have too, right? People, you prop up these idols, you start listening to them, they start parroting some, talk coming from a publicist somewhere. I mean, he was reading prepared marks in that speech, right? This wasn't like an off the cuff.
He had it printed out.
Absolutely. So, and it's standing right next to a campaign staffer and two police officers that are
campaign
full of crap,
spokesperson.
right? Yeah, and I mean, you know what this is, right? But people jump on board. I mean, if so and so says so and they're a celebrity, I mean, hell, we got to do what Kim Kardashian does or what, Katy Perry says or whoever the celebrity of the day is, and it's just like that's fake. All of that, those people don't. That's fake. They're fake. They don't live a real fucking life. They have somebody that plans things for them. They have makeup artists that make them look glamorous. They have people that keep their life in order. They couldn't do it themselves.
Their own cooks.
Right. It's like, come on, dude. You're going to tell me, the rest of the world, how to live, Robert De Niro, and you get paid acting about people like me.
Yeah, yeah.
You're portraying me.
But not people like me.
But, yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Sure. Right.
But no one, my life is boring.
Right. Didn't sound boring yesterday.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
No, we cannot. Let's move on.
Yeah, well, just going back, like, to this case, like, I'm glad that you think, or you've got some hope that there's some jurors out there that it might be. I don't at all. They asked them if they followed Trump on social media. If they did, they were out. If they never asked them if they followed Biden. They never asked them if they're Democrats or whatever.
I have to have faith.
I just don't.
I have to have faith that people aren't that far gone. I have to have faith that when they listen to this sham, when they hear it, that they're going to listen to what a goat rope this whole thing was, and they're going to be like, yeah, man, I just can't get behind it. And I have to have faith that people understand or are smart enough or intelligent enough to understand that even if you hate the man, even if you think he is the biggest piece of waste on the planet, that this exact same thing could happen to you. If it can happen to a former president, it damn sure can happen to you as the little person living.
You guys got billions.
Right? I mean, so I have to have faith that people are at least smart enough to understand that if this can happen to him, it can happen to me, and it's a sham, and I'm going to say, no, he's not guilty, or I'm going to say, yeah, I can't decide. I have to have faith in that, right? I mean, I have to. So,
I can't, I think it was maybe on a post on X from one of the legal experts talking about how they don't even have to agree on, they all don't have to agree on what crime he committed. If 4 of them think it was this one, or 3 of them think it was this one, and the rest think it was the third one, then he's guilty.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have to believe that somebody's gonna hang this thing up.
You gotta hope for a hung jury because you're not getting a not guilty.
Yeah, I just hope. I'm hoping that somebody hangs this up. And I mean, it's a political witch hunt, like he says. It absolutely is. I mean, here's what gets me, and I don't know how people cannot see this. Right? Trump's getting all these charges put against him for election interference, classified documents.
Yeah, I have all the charges printed out.
I mean, he's had classified documents charges, election interference charges coming out of Arizona. He's got he falsified documents or inflated the price of his real estate, right, when trying to get a loan, and he paid the loan back. Nobody's ever hurt in that.
Yeah, the bank's like, we'd loan to him again.
Yeah, the bank was like, we don't even want this.
And he put his disclaimer in there that's supposed to be legally justified.
Right. I mean, all these charges are coming out, right? And out of all of them, you look at things like, what have the Clintons done? Hillary Clinton, right? Okay, let's talk about election interference. Let's talk about election interference, right? She paid somebody to put together a dossier.
Yep, I have that too.
So she paid for the dossier that had Trump being, a puppet of Putin and all that crap, and the PPing on prostitutes in Moscow and like all the BS that's out there.
It's right here. In 2022, Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign and the Democratic National Committee paid a total of $113,000 in civil fines to resolve a Federal Elections Commission investigation into those committees' description of payments to the private investigation firm Fusion GPS.
Yeah, Fusion GPS.
As legal and compliance consulting. Right. They're the ones that made the dossier.
They went and they found a guy
to
put together a dossier who found people to give him fake information, put it in the dossier. They gave it to the FBI.
Then they leaked it to the reporters so that they could then say.
That's how they verified it to get the FISA warrants. Yeah. I mean, they did all this crap, right? Where's the election interference there? There is none. She'll never get prosecuted. No. Okay, well, let's talk about classified documents. Hillary Clinton got nailed for the whole scandal with her having her own server in her own apartment building in a bathroom, right? Well under subpoena by Congress, she brings in somebody, BleachBits, the
Wasn't
software.
it like an Iranian dude?
Imran Awan was the guy who did her BlackBerry phones, and he did that. It was some company that came into BleachBit, the software. But BleachBitting is like overwriting a number of times on the software.
Yeah, so many times.
So there's no memory left.
It dices
right?
everything.
It kills everything. She brings this guy in, well under subpoena, deletes her own emails, goes the whole 9 yards of getting rid of everything, and then smashes the BlackBerries that this Imran Awan, who was a Pakistani ISI agent, who was brought in by Debbie Wasserman Schultz to put together BlackBerries so that everybody could talk and communicate, cryptic or with, so they were encrypted, right?
Yeah.
And Hillary Clinton then realizes, oh my gosh, there's stored memory on these BlackBerries. We have to smash them to pieces, and they did under indictment. And but Hillary Clinton,
No problem.
Don't worry, those 30,000 emails were all personal, and I made the decision, right? Because Hillary Clinton is the purveyor of truth, right? I mean,
Yes.
I mean, I believe anything Hillary Clinton says.
Of course. Otherwise, you get suicided.
Right. I didn't say that, Hillary. That was not me.
I did. Come get me.
I do not believe in your body count.
Bring it in.
Bro, they got someone good working on their side.
That's fine.
Anyways.
Sweet release of death.
Right. And then Joe Biden also has stuff in his, Biden has classified material in his garage or in his whatever, next to his Porsche.
Well,
Trump's is in a freaking locked, stored
under
area.
Secret Service guard.
Yep. And the FBI had come in previously, had viewed all the materials and said, okay, just keep them here. It's okay.
And told them what lock to use.
And told them what lock to use, a GSA-approved lock, right? So they tell them what to use.
Yeah, GSA approved.
Yep.
Free position lock.
Free position lock, right? That's what you put it under. So he does what he's supposed to do, and then they come back and raid him knowing full well it's there.
Yeah, where
right?
it is, yeah.
Biden, meantime, is like, oh, look, I found all these documents from when I was a fucking senator.
Yeah, where you
Okay,
didn't have the
you
authority.
don't have the authority to declass documents to take them away as a senator. You are supposed to be reviewing that in a SCIF, which is compartmentalized. You can't bring a cell phone into a SCIF. No audio. You get actually wanted for audio materials before you go into a fucking SCIF. You were supposed to leave those in a SCIF. Somehow Biden makes it out of a SCIF with materials. Oh my gosh, look at that. Now as a senator. Okay, well, which one's worse?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
dude, if you can't tell that this is a fucking sham, that this is a setup and a play, and I will be honest, I originally was not a Trump guy. I was not a Trump guy. I wanted Ben Carson.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about this. We were both on Ben Carson, which is funny because we're very different politically.
Oh, well, mine was I couldn't reconcile my faith with in the beginning with Trump because Trump was so arrogant and Trump was so loud and he just seemed like he was on the attack with everything. Now I understand exactly, like sometimes you need that loud, brash, arrogant figure in place because he showed us that the media was full of shit. He showed us that either the right or the left, it didn't matter. It was propaganda, and they're all owned by the same corporations that are telling them what they can and can't say. It completely exposed celebrities for being absolute garbage and full of shit. I mean, you look at what they do. I mean, Robert De Niro out on the streets, all these people. It showed us how crazy.
Heckled.
It showed us how crazy people are. They're not like the normal people. It's the small minority of people. And the celebrities that are the loudest, they have something to be afraid of.
Yeah.
You will not tell me that they don't. I can't.
That's everyone, though.
I know.
Whoever's making the most noise is probably doing the crime.
Right. And that's, to me, I can't get behind it anymore, man. I'm just like, all right, listen here. You made your money making music. Shut up and make music. Right? Don't tell me how to live. I don't come to your house and say, hey, you're stooping this lady or beating on this chick in a hallway and dragging her down the frickin' hallway. You're whatever your lifestyle is. Don't tell me how to live mine. I'm not going to tell you how to live yours.
You're not a model citizen.
You are not. You're not.
Or not even citizen. You're not a good human.
Yeah. A lot of them aren't, right? I don't know. We build these people up to false idols, and people worship them and think that everything they say has to be true and has to be right. Like Taylor Swift's fan base, right? I mean, she's got a huge fan base. This chick comes out and says a ton of stuff against Trump, and I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? What
she just got the tagline.
Every song that you make is about some guy who left you and then you being bullied. No wonder why you don't like Trump. Okay, I get it. You don't like a bully. Neither do I. Bullies should be slapped in the face, but sometimes that bully needs to be there to push out other bullies.
Right. Sometimes it's not a bully. How do I say this? It's not about being bullied. It's about
strength.
Having somebody there that's not going to put up with anything.
Yeah, it's strength.
And a lot of times that is your bully. But who did he bully? He bullied the press. He bullied people that went after him.
Yeah, he's a guy. And honestly, this is a military motto as well. You hit me, I hit back harder, right?
Right.
That's fire
Well, I
superiority.
would imagine it's also like that in real estate in New York.
Absolutely.
Right?
It is.
Like, let's be honest here. We talked about the New York attitude last time.
Yeah.
Or a couple times ago. Same thing. And now you add realtors into it.
It's cutthroat.
And then you add a billionaire and some dude that is just being attacked by anyone.
And I mean, think about this. He's a billionaire who's hated by most other billionaires.
Yeah,
You know,
why? Why? Yeah, they're all friends except for him.
All
Why?
the other billionaires, they're in the right.
He
He's
kicked
the
Epstein
only guy
out.
in the wrong.
He kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago.
Right, for
Everyone
trying to
else
to
cozies
get
up
with
next
an
to him.
employee's
Yeah.
young daughter. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. Whatever. You can draw whatever comparisons you want to Trump and whoever else, and they will. They'll be like, well, Trump was on Epstein Island. Show me. You can't, because nobody will
can't.
release the freaking documents.
Yeah.
If Trump was on Epstein Island, and here's
It'd
the
be
difference.
out. Yeah.
Here's
it'd
the
be out.
difference. This is what drives me absolutely insane about some of these people, right? You have like all the people on the LGBTQ side of things that think Trump is going to put them in camps and whatever else. Do these people not realize that somebody like me or somebody who's patriotic would pick up a rifle the second they get put in a camp, and we
Yeah.
would go take Trump
Anyone.
ourselves out of
Anyone.
office?
Anyone.
We would stand up in a second, a heartbeat for any one of these people. Why? I've already done it. People like me have already done it multiple times.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't know you. I don't care. But I would still do it. Why? Because that's what this country is.
That's
We're
what
not
we're
going to let you.
founded.
We're not going to let you be taken and put in a freaking concentration camp. But you know what I would like? I'd like some lower gas prices and some food costs to go down. I would like the economy to not suck. I'd like there to be a pension later on. I would like to have
Yeah.
Social Security available when I
Yeah,
get to that
yeah,
age.
yeah.
I'd like to have all these things that everybody else before me had, because it was great for a long time.
Yeah.
Now it's not.
Yeah.
And these people are so freaking ridiculous. They just can't get past their own freaking delusions and their own, feelings. I'm sorry, you're upset, but I don't care.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Is it 30 or 40%? Food costs are up 40%, 30%,
Yeah.
40%, somewhere in there. Like, jeez. I just,
quite a rant.
I don't, yeah.
I'm on a rant right now.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all comes back to this, like this trial. Why we're there? I've got all the charges here. So in the New York case, the fraud case, right? Not the what was the other one? The $400 billion fucking
That was
bond he
the-
had to post.
That was the real estate.
The inflated. And they said Mar-a-Lago's worth $18 million.
Yeah, okay.
The property next to Mar-a-Lago is worth $2 million, and there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
So the New York case is 34 counts falsifying business records in the first degree. 32 counts of. Oh, wait. Sorry. It's back to back. The second case is the Florida indictment on the documents, the classified documents. 40 counts in all. 32 unlawful retention of national defense information. Biden should be charged with that.
And Hillary.
Yep, and Hillary.
And Barack. Barack
Well,
had the
all
same
the
thing.
presidents.
Every one of them has
Every
found-
one of them.
Yep.
Every one of them has found documents.
Yep.
1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice. 1 count withholding a document record. 1 count corruptly concealing a document record. 1 count concealing a document in federal investigation. 1 count a scheme to conceal. 1 count of false statements and representations. 1 count of altering, destroying, mutilating, or concealing an object.
You know what gets me? Barack Obama pardoned George H.W. Bush. Trump pardoned Obama.
Yeah,
Biden refused to pardon Trump,
yeah,
right? So, Biden, buddy,
yeah. Guess
You're-
who's not going to pardon Biden next?
you're the shadiest fuck I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Your
you're going to need
son
that pardon.
is
Well,
a
he's gonna-
crackhead
he's
that
gonna be
slept with
dead
his
by the
dead
time
brother's
yeah.
freaking wife.
Yeah.
Buddy, yeah,
Yeah, now
your
she's-
family's going
now
down.
she's going to testify against him, and
Your
guess who
family's
Biden
going down.
just went
Yeah,
and
he
visited?
went and saw her right before the-
weird a week before the trial starts.
That's okay, because he probably went over there and couldn't remember anything but vanilla ice cream. so-
Well, he was there. His aides are running everything,
right.
or the lawyer. 1 count of corruptly altering, destroying, mutilating, or concealing a document, record, or other object. Right. So then you go to the case and the election interference with Fani.
Fani.
I think isn't it Fani?
I don't care.
No, this isn't. This is Jack Smith. Sorry. So this is the Jan 6. Conspiracy to defraud the U.S. Conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. Obstruction of and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding. Conspiracy against rights.
So-
Trump wasn't there.
So, I mean, that one's a beautiful trial right there because, A, he wasn't at the Capitol, never did it. B, he said go protest peacefully.
Yeah.
And C, they had an impeachment that failed with their own people in office.
Yeah.
If you can't find anything through an investigation or impeachment, there's nothing there that you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it now all of a sudden?
They impeached him even after he was president. Like,
Yeah.
he's no longer president. You can drop the impeachment.
They did, but that's all
That's
about
not,
this.
That's
this
not. It was the
re-election, right?
highlight. Oh,
It's
he's
4
been
years later.
impeached twice.
Yeah.
Well, only once. The second time he was a citizen. So then the trial in Georgia, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit false statements and writings.
Hold on.
2 counts
I mean,
of false statements and writings.
I have to say this because this is driving me crazy.
Yeah.
As you're reading this to me, I'm just like putting together a list, right?
Yeah.
I want to go through this list.
Yeah.
He comes down the escalator and says he's going to run for president,
Yep.
right? Right after that, Hillary Clinton goes and gets a freaking dossier put together. He has a dossier put together that's then given to the FBI, knowing that it's fake, knowing that Fusion GPS and it came from Hillary. The FBI then turns it over to the media to use it as material, as proof, to get a freaking warrant to spy on him illegally, spy on his campaign. He finds out from somebody, some whistleblower tells him, hey, they're spying on your campaign. He comes out and says it, and immediately they start calling him an asset of Russia, right? They start going through this narrative. All these people are coming out against him. All these people are saying things. He ends up winning the election. Right away, day one of the election, the Democrats are saying they're going to impeach him. For what? They said that at the beginning. They're going to remove him from office.
Yeah.
They're going to impeach him. From day one, it goes on and on. The media comes out against him. All the left-wing media, all the celebrities come out against him. Really, for what? What did he do that was so bad? Because he was mean on stage? Because he was whatever he did, the things he said? And the list goes on, all right? He goes into this Ukrainian phone call. We listened to the whole thing. We saw Adam Schiff give his version of the phone call when I played you that video,
Yep.
right? He lied and made up all these things on the phone call.
Yeah.
The next day, Trump releases the actual phone call itself, and Adam Schiff looks like a freaking moron after that.
Yeah, but
then
no one's
comes
gonna.
out.
No one's gonna read that.
It never does. They try to impeach him for nothing. There was nothing there. After that, he loses an election that he contests, and they're all up in arms about, oh my God, it's a contested election. No other person has ever contested an election except for Hillary, except for Stacey Abrams, except for Al Gore, except for all these people have come out and said, no, it's not fair. It wasn't a fair election. It's lies. It's this. It's that. Whatever. This goes on. We had evidence, yes, actual evidence, to prove that there was election interference, to prove that there was rules that were changed illegally, not going through the constitutional processes. Courts wouldn't take it. They kicked it down the road in all these liberal areas and swing states. All these things had taken place. We saw voter harvesting. We saw that. We saw ballot harvesting.
Yeah.
We saw nonprofit groups actually coming in and paying people to go.
They're paying illegal immigrants.
Paying people to drop frickin' ballots. We saw that. We saw the voter boxes. The voter boxes that were being used for mail-in ballots were supposed to have cameras on them. Like 90% of them didn't have frickin' camera coverage on them. Why?
Well, they
Weird.
said they didn't work.
You
Like,
saw
convenient.
this. You go to bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock. Trump's way up. You wake up in the morning, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a dump of voter ballots, and all of a sudden, oh my God, Biden's the president of the United States. If you can't think to even say, okay, that maybe that we have to investigate this. This is a little weird. All of it together. It'd be weird if it was just one accusation, like, oh, the Dominion voter software changed the number. All right, man, that alone, pretty shaky. I don't know if I buy that. But when you see all the other evidence and the videos out of Georgia, I think it was Georgia, where they kicked the poll workers out. They said they're closing down for the night.
They covered up the windows.
They covered up the windows, kicked the poll workers out, and then they started running ballots after everybody was gone. You see the lady pull a case out from under the table, grab the ballots, run it through the machine 3 times. Okay, maybe it didn't take it the first time. Maybe it didn't take it the second time. Or maybe it did. Maybe that whole stack of
but
ballots
you
got
kicked
ran.
everyone out. So even if that's
Your
a
poll watchers are
coincidence,
gone.
yeah.
Even if it's a coincidence, now there's the
Suspicion.
possibility, the suspicion that that's taking place.
Yeah.
So you have all that, right? So Trump, he's like, I want an investigation of this. You have all this crap. It goes on. He gets impeached for January 6th. Now we look at him. He's in the middle of all this crap. He's battling charges at this level and charges at that level. You have all these charges are coming out that are just absolutely freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's a double standard everywhere you turn. From the very beginning of Trump coming down that escalator to right now, he has been targeted with everything that you could possibly target somebody with. And my question is why? Why are you targeting him?
Yeah, why?
Right? Well, Is it because you said you're going to drain the swamp?
Yeah.
Is it because you said you were going to go after all the corruption?
He's been saying it for, what
How
did he say it
long?
for 8 years, 2 cycles before?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you need to do.
Is it because you have something to be afraid of, that there's something out there that you should watch or pay attention to? If you honestly think that he is just a bad, terrible human being right now, and you're not seeing the totality from day one of him being in office all the way to where we are right now,
Yeah.
and you can't put that together as, oh my God, this guy has been under attack the entire freaking time. If you can't ask yourself why, it's not me who's a conspiracy
Yeah,
theorist. It's
yeah.
you being a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
If you can't see the ambush in that, I can't help you. Who can help you?
Right.
Day one of coming down the escalator, he's under attack. Day one.
Yeah.
Well, now we know.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they
God, that bothers me.
there's 4 more charges in Georgia. The RICO Act violation,
Yep.
conspiracy to commit.
RICO's not a crime.
Yeah, thanks AOC.
Okay.
You just got Trump off. Conspiracy to commit impersonating a public officer, conspiracy to commit filing false documents, and filing false documents. So, yeah. I mean, that case, I'm not even sure where that case stands anymore, because I know some of those charges have been dropped.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there was 13, so it's down to those 10. But, like, they're reviewing the appeals court picked up the kicking her off the case. The state legislature is investigating her
Yeah.
for the
the
funds.
Yep. I mean, well,
And she won't.
Bragg is
she won't
under
participate.
investigation, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's under investigation, I believe, for his the stuff that's going on there with evidence, right? This guy that in this trial right now, the judge in this trial, right? His
Yeah.
daughter received
Yeah. She works for them.
and
Currently.
got paid 500 something thousand. He wouldn't recuse himself from the
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
right? There's no conflict of interest there.
No,
I mean, it's just like save 10% for the big guy.
I think was it Stefanik? Did she file something? I think she filed something with New York, something to do with the judicial branch about the appointment of Mershon. Is it Mershon?
Yeah, the
judge there.
Mm-hmm.
That it was not random.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't.
Of course, it wasn't random.
It's just like that other judge, was it Engoron or whatever, the one that's
Yeah.
under investigation right now for his corruption.
Well, I mean, he laughed about it and during the trial.
Well, I mean, at every stage of the game, he basically was a political attack on Trump. Every time Trump's attorney would object to something, he got shot down.
Yeah. Well, that's going to get thrown out too, which is why they wanted the bond so high, thinking he couldn't do it and they could seize an asset. So
Unreal.
get real.
Yeah,
They know because it's real estate. Like, you can't just get capital out of that. I was hoping for a billionaire to bail him out, like bond him himself and be like, yeah, I got it.
Elon's
yeah,
like, hey,
somebody.
Here's your money. I just
Well, he's friends with Steve Wynn too, right? Like,
Yeah.
how many fucking casinos does that guy have? A lot.
It just seems to me that those that are screaming the loudest, like you said, definitely have something to hide from. We still don't have the Epstein
Yeah.
list. The government
Yeah.
has it,
Yeah.
right? Ghislaine Maxwell went to prison. We still don't have any of the details out of that. It's supposed to be public. Why
who'd she
why the
traffic
fuck
to?
isn't it public?
She went to jail for trafficking people.
Yeah,
Who? To who? No one else went to jail.
Right.
Who was she trafficking to?
right. Yeah, exactly. And it's public information. Why
It should be.
Why can't we
They
see these
classified
things?
it,
Of course
right?
they classified it. Why do they classify it? Well, you don't classify things unless there's members of your own freaking
Yeah,
government that
yeah.
are involved. Or Ghislaine Maxwell is a government asset. And if
Yeah,
you're a
well,
government
they said that he was working for the CIA.
if you're a government asset and you're trafficking people, we have a giant fucking problem.
Yeah.
A giant problem.
Yeah.
So we need to know that. That has to happen. And you know what? I hope Trump comes in. I hope he does get elected. I hope he drops all of it, declassifies everything. If we have to burn this motherfucker down to rebuild it back to what it was and what it means for the country,
should be.
to what it should be, it is that important, not just for us, but for the entire freaking world.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the last beacon of freedom. And we are so close at this point to losing it because the idiots that are like, oh, from the river to the sea, and they couldn't even tell you what river or what
that
frickin'
means.
sea. They couldn't tell you what it means, where it originated
Well, it
from.
means murdering all the Jews.
Yep. Oh, let's force kids to have frickin' sex changes because I told them they were a girl and they believed me. we have to stop this crap and we have to fight. Like, it has to be. At some point, you got to stand up and you got to say, no more. And I hope he gets in there, and I hope he declassifies everything. And I hope there is stuff there.
Yeah.
I hope we find a Robert De Niro on a list. I hope we find a bunch of freaking
We saw it
Hollywooders
on the list that was posted on Twitter.
I know I saw it, but I don't believe it until I see it.
Who's that? I mean,
I refuse to. Just because some guy on Twitter has a list.
yeah, for sure.
I can write a word.
But the list didn't come down either. So
yeah, that's true. And that's what gets me to believe that you don't fight like this unless there's something to hide. You know what I mean? Like, it's they're fighting for their lives is what it's like.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, we're trying to save democracy." Whatever.
By suppressing freedoms for people.
I'm trying to save. This guy's going to destroy democracy. Oh my God! And that's
get out of here.
Well, of course, it's a guy who pretends to be somebody else who's going to say that. He has no clue. There's not a single frickin' person who, at least that I know that I served with, that would be on board to let him frickin' go the concentration camp way and tear down democracy. First of all, we're a republic. We're not a democracy. So
yeah, a representative republic. We should probably start learning the difference.
Yep.
I honestly believe that you could go to every single one of the people in Congress and they wouldn't understand the difference.
Well, there's a lot that don't. I mean, I don't know. It bothers me, man. It does. It does bother me. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, I can tell.
Okay.
I can tell because we got all the way from Trump to sex changes.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but this is why we decided to start doing this. Just that, if nothing else, just for us to feel better about trying to put something out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing our part, right? I can't go and protest, right?
Right.
If I protest and anything happens, I lose my job.
We lose our job. Yep.
Just because we have clearances.
Yeah.
So that can't happen. So I can't do that, right? I damn sure am not going to start making threats against the government or against a president or against... That's retarded. That's, pardon my language, but that's ridiculous. I would not do that.
Yeah.
I'm not about to go do anything else. The only thing I can do is just voice my opinion and continue to point the light out. Like there's a lot of people doing podcasts about this stuff now. There's a lot of people doing things like this.
This is where people are going to be able to hear some rationale. I mean, obviously, you've got people on both extremes doing podcasts, but when you find one that you find a gel with,
that's true.
You can just tell. Like we don't always take one side or the other.
No,
that's not what it's about. That's what the biggest problem is. The identity politics, right? Like, I identify as a Democrat, I identify as a Republican, and that's it. That's it. My world is that.
I'm an American, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, here's what I want.
Like, if it didn't sound cheesy, I'd want to start the American Party.
Right.
You know, like
the Constitutionalist Party.
Everybody's different. It's okay to be different.
Both sides will attack you mercilessly.
Well, because they'll lose their power.
And that's the problem.
Because most people are independent. They're in the middle.
They're in the middle. Most people are, right or left. And, I mean, I will say this, right? When Trump came out, and I think it was just a couple months ago, and he said we have to have a conversation about abortion, and he was saying things like he kind of thinks that is a conversation that needs to be talked about.
Yes, right? It is.
And the far right was just, they blew up.
Yeah.
You're a freaking Republican. You can't be on side with abortion, blah, 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 blah.
He's a populist, guys.
So I sat there and I thought about it, and by no means am I pro-choice. Right? I have a daughter I had when I was 16 because we decided not to have an abortion, right? And that was probably what saved my life from being it led me down the path to fix myself as a kid.
You're there for her now.
Right. So I can't get behind it, but I also understand that if you're raped by somebody, you probably don't want to carry that baby.
For sure.
Or if you're going to die, or
right.
Or it's from incest or whatever, but that's an honest conversation. But here's the other part of that honest conversation. There are people who are just doing it for a matter of convenience. They're going out making poor decisions, not just once, not twice, 3, 4. There was a celebrity I saw. She's like, I just had my 4th abortion, and everybody went crazy.
Celebrating. Like, are you nuts?
I sat there.
There's something mentally wrong with you.
Right. And I sat there thinking to myself, like, oh, well, that's cool. Just tell us what you are without telling us what you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if that's what you're going to use this as, it's an issue. But Trump came out and he said, hey, we have to have this conversation as a country. And he's not wrong.
No.
But the thing that bothers me the most, and this is where I line up, I'm a constitutionalist, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I swore an oath to defend that document.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The government, the federal government, not Joe Biden, not the far left, and not the far right, should never be able to tell you it's a federal crime to have or to not have an abortion. That's
Yeah.
for your state to decide.
That's states' right.
That's a state's right. So if California wants to keep having abortions up until the point of whenever,
yeah.
that's
3
theirs.
weeks after birth.
That's theirs. And that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Right? It's disgusting. To me, I think that's just absolutely horrid. But that's their state's right.
Yeah.
And that's what the Constitution was for. That's where this podcast, I think, sits, right? I may be conservative and you may be centrist, but at the point of it, it's all about, the rights that we have and we are getting taken away from us. And people don't understand that. There's still people who think that it's illegal to have an abortion because the Supreme
Roe v.
Court
Wade.
overturned it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just sit there and
But
shake my head.
That's the propaganda machine. Right?
I know, and I shake my head and I'm just like, oh my God, from the river to the sea, right? Like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
No idea. They just take the tagline. This is the "Don't Say Gay" bill, right?
Yeah,
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. One person gets that. Whoever has the best messaging comes out first and says it, and that's it. That's over. It doesn't matter.
Yep. And it doesn't help. I mean, how are our kids being educated? Because whatever it is not working right now.
No. Yeah. Well, that's because they want $50 billion. And yeah, I'll just say this. Not that anyone listens to our podcast yet, but I obviously understand that California does not have abortion up to 3 weeks after birth. I was being sarcastic. But partial birth abortion,
Yep.
that is, I'm not going to tell anyone they can and can't have an abortion. I'm not going to. I don't agree with it.
Yep.
My wife doesn't agree with it. We're not going to say you can't.
Right.
But partial birth abortion? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Born alive.
Just
Right.
think about that for a second.
Mhm.
When is it murder?
Yeah.
If they're born, you're saying it's not murder because they're not born.
Let me ask you this.
Okay? If they're born and then it's a partial birth, are you kidding?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
17-year-old girl
Yeah.
delivers a baby,
Yeah.
puts the baby in a dumpster.
Yeah.
Baby dies. They
Yeah.
find the baby.
Yeah.
That girl goes to jail.
Yeah.
Why?
Murder.
Okay. What's the difference?
Well, there isn't.
There isn't any.
Right.
It's just a doctor says, okay, well, I'm going to stick this needle in this baby's brain,
Yeah.
administer drugs to shut the brain off,
Yeah.
and we're going to call it good.
Yeah. No, I 100% feel that way. Again, I'm not going to be the one that's.
I can't.
I don't
think
like it after a certain period of time. I think
here's
that
the thing.
you can up until but after a certain point, it has to be murder.
I think you're kind of like I am, where we're both taught not to judge people, right?
Right.
So we don't. We tend to sit back and just, okay, whatever. I'm just going to accept you. I mean, how many people do we work with that we don't judge?
Right.
Right?
All of them.
Right. So
Well, I judge one person.
I'm sure you do.
You.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's different walks of life that you're exposed to at work,
Yeah.
and they're good people. Like,
Yeah, of course.
I get along very well with, and I learn a lot. You know what I mean? Because that's
I
not
think that's the best part.
right. I learn a lot because it wasn't my walk of life. But sitting down
Yeah.
with some of these individuals and having a conversation, I've learned more in the last couple of years than I have the previous entire life that I've lived.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to judge you for what you're doing.
Right.
It's not you personally that I'm judging. It's the act.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And I get it. I was right there. I was a 16-year-old kid that was
Yeah.
scared to death that had
Yeah,
to go
man.
tell my parents.
You were there.
I mean, I was there. My wife was there. We went through it, and I understand exactly what you're thinking. And we chose the other direction.
Yeah. The other part that really bothers me, and my wife's going to be super upset about this, but we had fertility issues,
Mm-hmm.
right? We spent 7 years and went through IVF, everything.
Yep.
And for some of these fucking laws that they're passing that affects that part of it.
Right. No, get out of here.
Get the fuck
Get
out of
outta
here.
here.
Get out of
Take
here.
that trash
Yeah.
and go. Yeah, I don't know. At some point, common sense has to come back, right? Your states have to have their powers to do what they're supposed to do. The corruption has to end, and we got to get back to being what America was, which was free. You're not going to find it with socialism. You're not going to find it with Marxism. You're not going to find it with communism. Capitalism is the only free way to do things. And I get it. There's going to be people that make billions of dollars, and they'll control a ton of wealth, and you're going to be blue collar, and you're
Yeah.
and you know what? There's nothing wrong with a blue collar life.
No, man, we're very happy.
Yeah, you're going to have your day to day struggles. We
Yeah,
all do.
Everyone does.
But would I love to be a billionaire? Yeah, everybody'd love to be a billionaire. Was it in the cards for me? No.
I do too many terrible things to be a billionaire. I know I need to be a blue class person. Like I would just pay for just ridiculous things.
Let's see, what was that?
Don't ask.
What's the guy who had the boat?
Well, all of them?
No, the guy who had the boat and was with girls all the time on the boat. Would that be you? Come on, you know who I'm talking about.
No, because
Just
because
a
I'm
playboy.
married.
Yeah,
I'm
of
married.
course.
No, honestly, like,
Of course you are.
what's that supposed to mean? I'm not gonna say it because she listens to this.
Yeah.
I think she just said she listens to this just to make me feel good, but it doesn't because I can see that this episode's only been played one time, and
Yeah.
that was by you and I. But no, I not that kind of stuff. Like,
I can tell you if I had $1 billion, I would not have control of any of that money.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I would just go crazy. I'd be betting on
Oh, no.
crazy things.
My wife would not let me have any of that
Oh
money.
well, yeah, Brenda would. Yeah, Brenda would get me. Too,
She would be. We would have.
but she would need to because I would do crazy thing. Like, I bet you can't jump off of this. Like, nothing that's gonna kill somebody, but maybe hurt them.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
That's fucked
I know my limitations.
So, Brenda, if you're listening, you need to have control of the
She
billion.
does. She does.
My wife would be the same way. She'd take it, and we'd do good things with it, but not because I would have it.
Right.
If I got the money, I would buy stupid stuff like
That's
a tank. I'd buy a
Oh,
tank or
yeah,
something,
sure.
something stupid.
Yep.
That's where I'd go. Oh, you bought this,
Tank driving a
$250 million tank.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, but
Oh.
it's okay because we have $1 billion.
Yeah,
Not
right.
anymore.
Not anymore. I don't know. It's sad. I mean, as a country, I think we're in a very vulnerable place right now. And I blame Obama a lot, and I blame George W. Bush a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, Trump was gasoline on the fire, honestly. And now you look at Biden and their administration, and they are just ripping this place apart as fast as they can. And if you think about it, Obama came in, and whether he tried to or not, he cut us up into little groups, right? I think it was politically. I think he did it for politics so that they were easier to pick off, people from the right and bring them over to the left. And I think that after 8 years of Obama, you had the reaction to go far right to Trump, right? And then Trump was gasoline on a fire that was already burning, which made the far left go even farther left. And now you have those people in the far, far left, which Biden's an empty vessel, right? He's not, unfortunately, like we talked about, he's an old man, and he's definitely got dementia. So now you have the far left filling that empty vessel, and it's just becoming more and more destructive.
What was that video I sent you, the latest one?
Which one?
Was it the medal of freedom that he gave somebody that he was like,
Wasn't it?
he didn't know like what he was supposed to do,
Yeah.
and the lady like holding the medals like looking like side eyeing like
You have
somebody
to do
come and
this.
tell him to get this medal.
Right. Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah.
It honestly is sad. And I do not like Joe Biden. I think he is the most corrupt president we've ever had. But I think that I'm not going to fight him. Ooh.
There goes the wood floor.
That's the dog. She wants to come up. She hears you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about it. Where do you go with it?
I don't know.
It's, if people haven't seen it and haven't done anything about it yet, it's not going to change. The only thing that it's the election. You have to vote him out.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to impeach him.
Like I said, one of the first episodes, probably the first episode, we have to vote out everyone.
Well, I think that's the fear with Trump too, right? He's going to come in. I think they honestly believe he's going to expose them for what they've done.
He
and
should.
He
He
absolutely should. Republican and Democrat.
Yes,
If you're a Republican,
everyone that's committed some sort of
yep. If you're a Republican and you were on Epstein Island, that's even to me, that's 10 times worse than if you were a Democrat on Epstein Island, right? You're one that's sitting here trying to be holier than thou, and you're claiming that you're a faith-based individual, and we find out that you were on Epstein Island. Bro, God save you, because and I bet you there are some.
For sure,
I'm sure there's quite a few.
Yeah.
And I want
you can't keep both sides quiet about it without there being a significant number on both.
I agree, and it needs to come out, right? The best disinfectant is sunlight, so we need to put some light on this and just get it over with. For a conversation that we were going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to stay on topic this time.
For a conversation that was going to be about war.
Well, I mean, but we got the Trump verdict coming out.
It's huge.
In a matter of minutes.
Where's it at? Have they come out yet?
No, I don't think they've even done. Trump didn't even get there until like 9. Well, so 2 hours ago. And then they said, like, the instructions to the jury were going to take like an hour.
Yeah.
So
it's not going to be during this podcast that it comes out. But
at 10:30 it says jury deliberations begin.
So it's been going for an hour.
No, like 15 minutes.
Eastern time, right?
Well, I don't know. I got the alert at 10:30. So I don't know if that's on my time or if that's on their time.
I just hope we're not that far gone.
I don't know. I don't understand, like, again, I don't understand the they didn't call these two people, like the bodyguard that Cohen lied about calling to get the final approval from Trump because the bodyguard was with him, so he called that guy when there's text messages that say that he had sent him a text.
Trump's defense?
Why, Trump's defense didn't call him?
Yeah.
No, I think it didn't matter. I mean, look, the Trump's defense had an election expert. He was the director, the FEC. What is that? A secretary? Mm-hmm. Is that a secretary position? And they wouldn't let him. The judge would not allow him to come and talk about the law, even though that was his job.
Yep.
So no one could talk about the law, so they didn't call him. Like, they were so narrow on what they could do, but the prosecution was able to ask if he wore a condom when he slept with her. Like, what does that have to do with it? Nothing. This was all just to damage him, and it's not working in the polls.
No. Well, but again, it's part of their plan, right? I mean, they've gone from the beginning of him coming down the escalator all the way to now, right? So anything they could do, this was just a smear campaign. This was just to do whatever. And it will work. It will. There's going to be some...
Oh, I think it's backfiring. He's up higher in the polls now.
Yeah.
And even the people in New York, they're asking him. Like, even CNN's now, like, turned on this. Like, I can't remember who it was from CNN said at the end of one of the trials. The only reason this guy was charged with this is because he's Donald Trump. And even Anderson Cooper came out and said,
yeah, but that bothers me. That worries me.
Yeah.
Because if CNN is starting to go pro-Trump, are there deals made? Like, that's how my mind works. Everybody hated Trump, and all of a sudden, if what comes out of this is, oh, now we're going to be, an institution of truth, what deals were made? That's the first thing that comes into my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The judge has told the jury they do not need unanimity to convict. It means 4 jurors could agree on the first crime, falsifying records, 4 on the second, tax violations, and 4 on the third, Fed election violations, and he's guilty.
That's
horse crap.
Crazy.
Crazy.
How can you... So, no, that's not right, because you tried all those together. That's one for all.
That's what he just said.
That's messed up.
That's what he told the jury. That's what I'm saying. This will be thrown out on appeal, and it will be a guilty verdict.
Unreal.
The judge would then consider that unanimous because they all agreed on that he committed a crime.
Is that even legal?
I don't know. I don't think they care because they know it's getting tossed. After the Harvey Weinstein got tossed, the judge even commented during Stormy's testimony, this doesn't have to do with it. They know it's going to get tossed because you're bringing up this other stuff that just to taint the jury pool.
They definitely have set it up. They've set it up so that he can't be successful. So if he comes out of this successful, you get a not guilty.
You just got to hope for one person that's like, no.
But you'd have to hope for 6.
No, you just need one guy that doesn't agree on any of them.
Well, you said you just need.
You need you need all 12 of them to agree that there is one of the 3 crimes committed.
Right, but which just means you need 4 in each one.
No.
It can be the same
no.
4 people.
It means that if 1 through 4 agree on this crime but don't agree on the other 2 crimes, and 5 through 6 or 5 through 8 agree on the second crime but not the first or the third, that everyone agrees that a crime has committed, then it could be 1 person on 1 and 11 on 2.
So one person just has to say. He doesn't
One
believe
person
any
has
of
to
it.
say
It's all a sham.
it's all a sham across all the charges.
We'll get that.
I don't think so.
Let's bet. Let's put a bet.
$10,000?
Not a chance.
Good, because I don't have that.
Not a chance. No.
All right. How about we'll bet food for work one day?
Okay. Pizza.
Pizza. Yeah.
Deal. I'm gonna be eating some pizza.
Uh,
I have faith, bro.
me too. Hashtag me too.
Either way.
Yeah. If I buy it, fine.
Yeah.
I'm eating pizza too.
Yep. All right. Well, I don't know, man. Let's wrap this one up. And
Yeah. Sounds good.
I guess for closing, like I said, this isn't the America that I want to live in. And I'm not one of those celebrities who says if so and so gets elected, I'm going to move to Canada.
Yeah, I just wish we could hold them to that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we voted and you have to get the fuck out.
You renounced your citizenship. Go away.
Yes, please go do it.
But I am frustrated. I think.
Yeah, I think everybody's frustrated.
Yeah.
Well, everybody that's normal.
Right.
Like, and I don't mean like normal in a social way. I just meant normal politically.
Yeah. The middle.
The middle, yeah.
Right.
Better way to say it.
The majority.
The majority. Yep.
Yep.
We got to stop being the silent majority. Vote out all the crazies.
Yep. And we have to stop when the crazies are talking and they're being loud.
We have to put them in their place.
We have to get up and put them in their place. We have to
Yeah.
start telling them, dude, what you're saying is
Shut up.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Shut up.
And yeah. Well, go ahead and give your spiel, man, because I'm.
Well, how about the song?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we got music now.
yeah. Blake came through. I like
yeah,
that.
was sweet.
Our guy Blake.
Yeah. Thanks, Blake.
Yeah. Thank you, Blake.
He's the only one that listens.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, me too.
I love that he said it's not done yet.
Yeah, we just threw it in.
I don't care.
It sounds
sounds
better
great.
than all of our sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just for the record, I was just showing you.
We got to get him on here. He's
well,
another guy who's
yeah.
sick as shit, and he's extremely intelligent. So we got to get him on here.
Yeah, we do. But, all right, yeah. You can visit us on our website, bluecollartakes.com. From there, it's got all our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. But yeah.
Well, thank you for listening, y'all, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks. See ya.